day.
It was one of those days you come in and it's just start to finish.
I thought that day I had what was a fairly important story. Northwest CEO Doug Steenland was granting an interview. He usually doesn't do interviews.
It was just a regular news day.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here at 9 and 10.
But we got back to our desk after the 5 o'clock newscast.
And all of a sudden across the scanner we heard 35W bridge collapsed.
And then I heard somebody say, bridge collapse.
So the assignment editors made a call and they hung up and they said, it's not a drill, it really happened.
And immediately I kind of sprung out of my chair thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go right back on the air, grab my coat.
Get your earpiece and you get back out to the set. Only walking out there do we realize the only information that we have is that a bridge has collapsed. It's in Minneapolis. We don't know exactly what happened, but we're sending someone on the way.
We were listening to news radio and the traffic report.
Yeah, it was just kind of headlines, the news, and whoever was doing the report just kind of casually, offhandedly said reports that the 35W bridge has collapsed, and now on with the weather.
I picked up the phone, I called the station, and I said, hey, we're right here, we're on our way to the bridge collapse. And even as the words came out of my mouth, I didn't really believe it.
All of a sudden we get a phone call from our assistant news director, Marion Davey.
All it was the bridge collapse, the bridge collapse, the bridge collapse. Get down there.
We are following a Fox alert in Minneapolis. The 35W bridge over the Mississippi River, apparently at least part of it, if not all, has collapsed tonight.
When we first got on the air, we didn't have any pictures immediately.
Jamie Reese and her photographers were the first on the scene.
So I just went out to grab my camera and I saw people laying on the sidewalk. One woman was covered in blood, and it was the first time in my career I ever actually was faced with the decision that do I do my job or do I need to help these people?
I grabbed my cell phone and my notebook and just started looking around.
Very quick scan, and the people who needed help were being tended to, so there was nothing else I was going to do, so I grabbed my camera and started shooting.
The first person I saw when we pulled up was a woman lying on the sidewalk, just covered with blood. For months after the bridge collapsed, that was what I saw when I closed my eyes.
It wasn't until the events started to unfold and we got information from Jamie and we got information from Tom that we realized how bad it was.
This is sheer chaos. Police, construction workers, everyone is rushing here, trying to restore as much order as they can, but there are bicyclists, drivers, pedestrians lying down on the street being treated right here on the sidewalk.
When we finally got Sky FOX9 up in the air.
Yeah, we're just getting there now. We're getting below the lock and dam here. Sky FOX9 showing you parts of the bridge right here, and you can see how it's basically dropped down. Usually we wait until these pictures get tuned in so that, you know, they're clean and they're clear, but the powers that be around here decided to take the picture right away because we wanted to see what was going on down there.
We knew it was going to be pandemonium down there. I mean, we knew it was going to be logistically really hard, and my concern going down there was where are the other crews?
When we first got, it was just, it's so hard to shoot because there's things are going on left and right, and people are screaming, but it was hard to grasp it and get the scope of it all in, you know, in one shot. That's just, it's not gonna...
It was hard to put into the viewfinder what we were seeing right in front of us, and that is the scope of the disaster. It was just so large. It was just so large.
There's, you know, cars in the river and people in the river and, you know, rescue workers trying to climb on the broken bridge.
I knew that we had images nobody else had. And Rob, you know, we were there so early. Rob was sort of climbing down the embankment at the side of the river to get these pictures.
The total free fall, the whole way down.
With all of us on the air, non-stop, it was sort of jockeying for, you know, chances to get live while someone else isn't going live and trying to feed everything back. And I had this tape I was trying to get back, and finally, you know, I just told them, just take it live as I'm sending it back.
Media, let me just give you a tour over here.
We got to get closer to the river. So it was just kind of jumped in the woods. And
literally, Andy and I are sliding down on our butts down the riverbanks, you know, some 30 or 40 feet with some other people. And I remember all of a sudden hearing behind me, get out of the way, get out of the way. And it was the firefighters who were just coming down. And literally, I pushed Andy and we just pushed ourselves into the brush because I was thinking whatever we had to do to get down, there, it was not as important as those guys getting down there.
There's no planning when something like this is going on. You can't stop and figure out what crews are going to go where and who's going to cover what angle. I think what we did, which was the only thing you could do and the perfect thing to do, was just throw everybody at the story.
I mean, you were really just trying to communicate and be a conduit for people to know what was happening down there, mainly so they didn't have to go down there.
It was like me and Tom, and then another crew and another crew, all in the same area, you know, all within 50 feet of each other, trying to cover this and then continually put new stuff on again.
I watched a lot of our coverage because it was the only communication device I really had back to the station. It was a little portable TV sitting right in front of me. I mean, because my cell phone wasn't working, the Nextels weren't working. The producers were so busy they couldn't really speak in my ear all the time. I mean, half the time I didn't even know if I was really on. I mean,
it was a mess of to try to get all this and then just feed it back. Do what you could to feed it back.
I think in moments of crises, it's when a newsroom shines its best.
I mean, it was hard. We were juggling all the time because, you know, it was like, do a live shot for 9, do a phoner for Fox, do this for Fox Radio, you know, BBC's calling it.
We went to go try to start doing broadcasts, and I realized I didn't have anything. I didn't have my earpiece, I didn't have my bag. Everything was in our truck behind the police line that we couldn't even get to it because we had been there so early.
You know, the most amazing part of our anchors that night is that they were just human beings. They were just also experiencing it. Because we didn't always have a lot of information that night. They had to tap dance for, you know, I don't know when they went off the air, but they had to tap dance for about 7-8 hours. I don't know how they did it.
It was tough to watch, but you also take a moment to pause and think, all the times I've been on that bridge, that could have easily been me.
I saw some things I would rather not see.
It was like nothing I've ever seen before and nothing I hope to ever see again.
You know, I've looked back on that day and I've thought, God, did I do a good job? You know, was I okay that day?